All right. Thank you so much for coming in. This is not my usual time. Usually I am the 12 noon person, but it is 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the United States. And I am doing this. So it's still afternoon. So I can say good afternoon and I can say welcome. And I want to also say thank you for taking time out of your day to tune in to Dr. Tonya Live. Before we dive in, I always like to ground us in a word of scripture. And it's the same scripture I've been doing since day one. And that's Ephesians 2:10, which says this: For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago. So I love that particular scripture because it's so encouraging and it just reminds us that we are made in God's image. And as his image bearers, we are special, we are unique, we are wonderful, we are unlike anyone else on this earth. And we are not here by accident. We are here for a reason and for a purpose. And God had a plan for us individually. He has a plan for all of us. Each person he has plans for. So I'm grateful to have you with me today. Um, I do this really for people who are looking to build a business and to get their business off the ground, knowing that they have ideas and dreams that God has given to them. I really want people to walk away today understanding that the identity that you have in God really is connected to the plans that He has for you. And if your dreams are to build a business and get that business started, then you are in the right place. So I have a favor I want to ask you. Please share this with your networks. Follow if you're not already following me on I am Dr. Tanya on Instagram, and then all of my other handles is either Dr. Tanya or Tanya Breland, whatever it is. So follow me on my social media, subscribe, and definitely share this with folks that you know. Thank you again so much for joining me. Today is actually day 10 of my 90-day challenge. I have challenged myself to go live every single day for 90 days. So I'm showing up live to encourage people. Most of the time, I'm encouraging women, but today I'm encouraging men. There have been many days that I'm encouraging both people, anybody who is ready to start a business, who may have started something but might need some support in moving forward with it, or who are looking to build and grow what they've already started. So, for those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Tanya, and this is Dr. Tanya Live, real talk for women and men building their businesses. Today, we're going to talk about a topic, and I would love for you to talk back to me if you can. Oh, wait, and I got to make sure I connect the chat on the other side. I just realized I did not do that. Um, Give me a second because I want to make sure that all the social media chats are available and accessible to me, even though I don't always see it. Um, so today's topic, we are going to focus on the one thing that we're going to stop waiting for if we are to follow through on the dreams that God has put inside of us. So, what is the one thing that you're going to stop waiting for? So, if you want to get a business off the ground, if you want to fulfill a dream that God has given to you, what is one thing you're going to stop waiting for? So, I'll start it off with permission. We are going to stop waiting for permission to get the business launched, to fulfill the dreams and the calling and the assignment that God has on our lives. We don't need people's permission to do what God has ordained us to do. So here's the thing, He has given us so many gifts and talents and abilities. Okay, so, for me, I remember as a kid in school, I was a great student, got great grades. I loved school as a kid. But the one thing the teachers would always say to me is, Tanya, you talk too much. They didn't say that to me. They would put in the report card. They put in the report card. Tanya's doing really great, and she's a high flyer, and da 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 da, whatever they would say, and but she does talk a little too much. She talks too much in class, and so it's like, But little did they know that all of this talking was going to pay off one day. It was going to be paying my bills one day. They had no idea. They didn't know, they could not see the gifts that God had given to me. They didn't know that this was a gift. This gab was a gift, and that this gift was going to get me paid one day. They had no idea. They had no idea. So they're trying to stifle me and keep me quiet and what have you. But ultimately, like, I didn't need their permission to talk, just like I don't need anybody else's permission to talk. If God gave me a voice, I have to use that voice. So I use my voice to talk, I use my voice to sing, and I use my voice to encourage people. And I don't need permission to do that. What about you? What gifts and talents and abilities has God given to you that you may or may not sometimes feel you've got to ask permission to execute or to live through? Because you don't. You don't have to ask permission for anybody to be who God has called you to be and to do what God has called you to do. He puts dreams inside of us for a reason. It's because it's to fulfill the plans that he has for us. We know he's got plans. It says it in his word. It says it in the Old Testament. It says it in the New Testament. Like, we know he has, and when he forms us, even in our mother's womb, he has ideas for what is going to happen in our lives. Why do you think I was talking so much as a kid? He was preparing me for what was to come later. He knew that this gift of gab that the teachers were writing about, saying Tanya talks too much, he knew that this gab was going to get me paid one day. He knew that. This was a part of his plan. God had a plan for me right from the beginning. And so I decided that I was not going to wait for permission to do the thing that I know I'm supposed to be doing. So then let's keep going down the list. So what is one thing that you will stop waiting for to fulfill the dreams that God has put inside of you? Be it to start a new business, be it to write a book, or to do an album, or to open a school, or whatever it is that God has given to you to do. What are you going to stop waiting for? Here's another one I have on my list: people's approval, which is somewhat similar to permission. But here's the other thing: I think it's a little bit different though. So when we think about the permission that we have, yes, that money piece, I'm coming back to that one. That's on my list too. I'm coming back. Um, so when we think about looking for people's approval, it's kind of like sometimes you'll take a step and you'll look to see, like, are people noticing? Do they like it? Do they think this is good? Like, should I keep going? And you're looking around waiting for somebody to approve of what you're doing. You're waiting for, a big audience and all these things, like, because if people are applauding you and people are saying this is great, this is wonderful, then that's going to make you keep going. But if God puts something inside of you and he says, this is what I want you to do, we can't wait for the applause over here and the applause over there and the great job here and the great job there. We've got to just do it. We've got to just take the step of faith if that's what is required of us. And we have to do exactly what it is that he has called us and designed us to be and to do. Right. And so let's move to this next one, because this is on my list too. It is, I'm going to stop waiting for more money and more time. So I'm going to separate the two and break them up into one. I mean, I'm sorry, break them up into individual pieces. So, yes, we got to stop waiting for the money. A lot of time we get stuck with that one though, because we'll look around and we'll watch other people who are like already thriving and already succeeding, and we'll see all that they are bringing in. Like, look at all those resources. This you I don't know how many wealthy people, super wealthy people, you might know personally. I know some. And when you look at those super wealthy people, you often will compare what you have to what they have, and you'll think, I can't step out here and do this. I don't have what they have. I don't I don't have all the resources to make these things happen. I can't do that. But the truth is, if God gave it to you, don't you think he's going to find a way to provide for you? Don't you think? Like, if you are walking in the purpose that God put inside of you, using the gifts that God gave to you, don't you think he's going to provide an opportunity for you to be able to do what it is that he's called you to do. Maybe he wants you to start with baby steps. Start small. The thing is, he doesn't don't despise small beginnings. That's what is in God's word. It's like don't despise the small beginnings. He rejoices to see you start. He wants you to start. Who doesn't want you to start, right? Okay, obviously there may be people that don't want you to start. There also might be the enemy who doesn't want you to start your business and start walking in your purpose, walking in your calling, doing the assignment that you've been called to do. That's not from God. If God gave it to you, he has equipped you and he has created a plan for you to be able to walk this thing out. We can't wait for all the things to be in place because they're not going to necessarily always fall in place the way we want them to fall in place because this isn't our plan. This is God's plan if we've surrendered that to him. And so if we're walking in his plan and walking in his purpose, if he says to walk, we walk. And believe me, he will provide. I'm a living witness. I have been there, walked that path. I know what it is when God says to do something and I can't see financially how I can do the thing. But when we do the thing that God has called us to do, God will provide. He will provide. He's Jehovah Jireh. That's what he does. He provides. And so we have to trust him to provide for us. And so sometimes though we will move ahead of God. Like God may say that he may not have told us to take certain steps and we'll move ahead of him and get ourselves caught out there and be in trouble. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm really talking about what is the one thing that you're going to stop waiting for. So then that second thing that was mentioned here was money and time. So a lot of times we will say, if I had more time, I learned this probably about 22, 3 years ago. And I've been saying it ever since I learned it. What's important gets done. I'll say it again. What's important gets done. So we can say all day long, I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm doing this. I'm raising kids. I'm working full time. My job demands a lot from me. I'm a spouse and my spouse needs this and I'm taking care of my parents and I need we can say all the things. I'm in school and whatever all the things that will stop us. It's really a form of procrastination. And behind procrastination oftentimes is fear. We'll come back to that. But when we say we don't have time, it really means that we are not making the time. That's what usually is the case. It's not that we don't have time. We have time to do everything else. So if you were to look, every one of us has on our phones, it'll track how much time we spend on our phones every single day. Right now, you might use your phone for business, but maybe not. You can see how much time you've spent on social media, how much time you've spent like scrolling through, how much time you've spent playing games on your phone, just talking on the phone to your friends or whatever. You can look at how your time is being spent every single day. So now I remember when I was first starting off doing this consulting work with school districts, and I was coaching principals. And I remember hearing about a program. I don't remember the name of it now because it's been a number of years. A program that helped administrators to be able to track their time every day and to delegate the things that were that somebody else could do. So even as a business owner, they say you can have better use of your time if you delegate the things that you don't have to be the one to do. So, for example, and I'm guilty of this, even as an entrepreneur, I am guilty. They call that working in the business versus working on the business. A lot of new entrepreneurs, so those of you who are just getting started or early in your entrepreneurial days, a lot of new entrepreneurs are guilty of doing nothing but working in the business. And sometimes it's important in the beginning so that you can understand the roles of the different people that you're going to need to hire. But what you'll also find, and I learned this early on when I first started my business after it failed that first year, that first 6 months, and I eventually enrolled in a program that Rutgers University had, and that program actually taught me a lot about business. And so one of the things that they also had provided for me was my first business coach. And so that business coach sat me down and she says, I want you to write out every single thing that you do every single day in your business. You can do the same thing for your life. I'm going to give you this instruction. Write out everything you do in a given day. At the end of the day, write down everything you did, everything, right? And then look at the things that you did that ultimately were time wasters. Or look at the things that you did that somebody else could have done, right? So now they also, like the experts out there will also say, as a new entrepreneur, maybe you need to delegate things in your home so that you can spend more time building your business. So maybe you need someone to come in and clean your home so you're not spending that time cleaning your home, but rather building your business. Maybe you need to have someone else do the cooking for a while. So you're not spending all your time cooking but you and preparing meals, but rather someone else is helping you with that. So those are things you can do in your home to save time. But if you make a list, and I did the same thing that she asked me to do at the beginning stages, first early years of my business. I wrote out everything that I did on a given day. And she went through and she literally marked everything there. She's like, someone else can do this, you can do this. Someone else can do this, someone else can do this. Someone else can do this. And I'm like, but I can't afford that. She's like, you can't afford not to. If you are going to get this business off the ground and get this business growing, you can't afford not to delegate these to somebody else. So you know what I did? I hired an accountant. I didn't know what I was doing financially anyway. I mean, with the money anyway, but that was one of the first people that I hired. I hired an accountant first. I don't know accounting. Like that's just now I've learned a lot about accounting over the years and I, certainly can do a lot with it, but she's like, "You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to be the one processing all of the, paperwork for, paying your clients and getting paid by your clients and tracking it and all. You don't have to be the one doing all that. You can hire somebody to do that." The same thing for you. If God has called you to do something, time could be your enemy, but it does not have to be if you really look at how you're spending it every single day. Are you being a good steward of your time? And if you're not being a good steward of your time, this is an invitation to do something different. All right, let's keep going down the list. Okay, what is one thing that you're going to stop waiting for to get your business and your dream moving in the direction that you want it to move, to get it off the ground? What else are you going to do? Gonna stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Did you think about that one? Now, maybe that's not your story. Maybe you are not a perfectionist. Maybe you're not the person that feels like everything, all the ducks have to line up in a row for you to be able to walk in purpose and walk in your calling and do the thing that God has called you to do. You might be one of those people that feels like you have to wait for perfection. Let me just tell you something. Perfection will never come. There is no such thing as perfect. And timing is another thing. There is no perfect timing. There's no perfect anything. If God gave you the dream, if he gave you the business idea, you've got to do it. Take a step of faith and walk out there and do it. Start it. Get it moving. If you started it but you haven't done anything with it, do that. Move. Get it going. Like what do you need to do next? Timing is never going to be perfect. Because here's the thing, you can say, well, I'll wait till my kids, go to school when your kids are young. I'll wait till my kids go to school. As soon as your kids go to school, something else is going to come in and fill that time. Well, I'm going to wait till my kids get out of school. Something else is going to come. I'm going to wait till my kids go away to school. Like we use our kids a lot of times as an excuse to stop us from walking in the purpose, walking in the calling, doing the thing that God has called us to do. And I'm here to tell you there's no such thing as perfection in timing. There's no such thing as perfection and all the ducks have to be in a row. It doesn't mean though that you should not be prepared. I'm not talking about um going on a whim and not being prepared and not planning. I'm talking about those individuals who feel like they can't move forward because things aren't perfect. It's never ever going to be perfect, but it can be right. And so it's just we move as we know God has given for us to move, and we don't sit on this any longer because tomorrow is not promised to us. I keep seeing, I hate seeing this. I keep seeing people who are younger than me who are not living. And the one thing I talked about either earlier this week or last week was you don't want to be sent to your grave and feel like that dash in between when you were born and when you pass away, that dash was not fulfilling. You don't want that. You want to live a fulfilling life. You want to leave a legacy for your people, for everybody that follows behind you. Make sure that you are living life to the full. It is too short for you to sit around waiting for perfection. Perfection will never come. Okay, I'll keep moving. The next thing I have on my list is sometimes we are waiting for other people to make it happen for us. So I remember years ago when my husband and I were younger and we were really trying to break into the music industry. Um, we were singers, we're both singers. We met each other singing, actually. We were trying to break into the music industry, and we would reach out to like um, radio stations and record labels and producers, and we would just, we just would wait for them to call us back, waiting for them. And we would even talk to people. I remember this one guy who was in the music industry, and we sing gospel music. And so um, this guy was like pretty famous in gospel music. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this with you guys. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna do blah, blah, blah. And all these things that he was making promises, right? He didn't fulfill one promise. In fact, he pretty much just like, he was all about whatever was going on in his life. He never did anything, but he wasn't the only person that did. There were several folks that were like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to help you guys and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. They didn't do anything. At some point, and my husband was the one is like the musician slash writer between the two of us. I really just sing. I don't really write. I did try writing music, but that's not a gift that God has given me. But my husband had all of these songs that God had given him, and he it was years in the making. And finally one day he was like, we've got to do this. It was like for him, even though he's a man, he's like, it's like I'm pregnant and I have to give birth to these songs. And so at some point, we stopped waiting for everybody else to make that happen for us. And we looked into, so how can we do this? How can we record our album? And so we hired a recording company that helped us do a live recording. Our church was very gracious, allowed us to use the space. We didn't have to pay for that. Like, here's the thing, sometimes when you take a step of faith, people will gift you with things. So they gifted us with this, with um the use of the church, the sanctuary, all the what everything that went with us. They even had a reception for us afterwards. It was wonderful. But we had to say yes to God and we had to take that step of faith. That's what you have to do. You can't wait for other people to make your dream happen for you. They're not going to do it. They may try. You may have some folks who will help you, but a lot of times you will sit around waiting for somebody else to do what God is waiting for you to do. God is waiting for you to move on the dream that He's put inside of you. It's not anyone else's responsibility. It is your responsibility to walk in purpose. God wasn't waiting for Moses to go and find somebody else to do it. God wanted Moses to set the people free. So He didn't say, like, hey, okay, well, all right. So I need somebody to to do this for me, right? Now, Moses did say he struggled with talking, and God said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna give you someone to support you. Aaron is gonna talk for you, but you got to do this work. You've got to be the one to do this." Same thing for you. When God gives you an assignment, it's you that has to fulfill that assignment, not somebody else. Somebody else may be a supporter, somebody else may be a resource, somebody else may be a champion and a cheerleader for you, somebody else may open doors for you, but you're the one that has to take the steps of faith. So you got to stop waiting for other people to make your dream happen for you. All right, let's keep it moving down the list, okay? So, um the other thing that I had on my list was we have to stop waiting to feel confident. Sometimes the confidence comes, I talked about this yesterday, after we have taken action. Okay. So we need to move on something before we may feel as confident as we want to feel. You may never feel fully confident. Women in particular often struggle with imposter syndrome. I mean, men may struggle with it too, but women are the ones that I hear it from the most. And I mean, boss women, bosses, okay? Women who are like doing the doggone thing, who are afraid to take a step because they don't feel the confidence that they need to feel. I'm like, girl, look in the mirror. Do you not see what I see? Can you not see how awesome you are, how gifted you are, how talented you are, how much the experiences that you've had has prepared you for what God has called you to? Sometimes we've got to tell people and remind them of who they are and encourage them in who they are, encourage you in who you are. You may have to remind yourself, affirm yourself. We can't wait for everybody to affirm us either. And that's sometimes what gets us in trouble and stops us from moving forward because we're waiting for someone else to say, "You're great. You got this. You can do this." You already know you can do this. It's inside of you. If you have this gift, if you have this dream that's inside of you, it's already there waiting for you to take the steps of faith that you need to take to make this a reality. We cannot wait for other people to make things happen for us. And we can't wait for other people to make us feel confident. People can't make you feel confident. That confidence comes from within. God can give it to you. God can give you that confidence, but God also gives you the authority to walk it out. And when you walk it out, that's when you begin to see the confidence because it's through the stretching. You being stretched by doing the thing that scares you the most. When you're being stretched, confidence shows up behind that stretching. That's what I need you to understand, that you can't wait to be like, okay, today I feel confident. Let me do it. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to take the steps of faith and allow the confidence to come. It reminds me of like flying. And I know this is not exactly the same, but help me I want you to help just follow me on this. So for years, I was petrified of getting on airplanes. The slightest, rumble, I would like freak out. The idea of flying alone, like, was just debilitating in many ways. But I realized the more I flew, the more comfortable I became, the better it got. So now I can fly with a nervous flyer and I can help them settle and calm down if they are unsettled in the flying because I've done enough times. So we can't always wait to feel confident about something. We've got to just do it. The confidence will follow because we are being stretched and we are growing. It's a part of that growth process. How else are you going to grow if you don't ever allow the stretching to take place? And that's what builds the confidence. Here's the thing. I don't want you to sit on this dream that God has given you any longer. Don't make any more excuses. Don't let things like fear stand in your way and all the things that we listed, in terms of what you're waiting for to be able to fulfill the promise and the calling that God has on your life. Stop waiting for all of that. There's never going to be perfect timing. People are not going to make things happen for you. You're never going to have all the money in the world that you need to make things exactly like it's going to be. You got to stop waiting for perfection and permission and people's approval and to feel confident. All of those things are secondary to what God has called you to. You've got to walk in the calling that He has for your life. And if you are going to do that, you've got to combat fear. I have a way that I'd like to help you if fear is standing in your way, and fear looks different and shows up in a lot of different ways. But if you find that fear is something that you're dealing with and you need to work through that fear, I do have something for you. It's a gift. For those of you who are not on Instagram and you're looking via my other platforms, you can actually see going across the screen, it says a free 10-day devotional called When Fear Knocks. So here's the thing about this devotional. When you go onto the website, you can actually do it right there on your phone. You can download it if you prefer, but you can do it right there on your phone. It's private only to you. No one else is going to see it. No one else has access to it. I can't see it either. You can save it. You can come back to it tomorrow and pick it up where you are. But this 10-day devotional is going to give you a scripture. It's going to give you information about how fear operates so that it addresses you. It's going to give you opportunities to kind of reflect and confront the fear that you're dealing with on a regular basis. And all of this you can keep record and keep track of. And even when you're finished, you can download the whole thing. If you're somebody who prefers to do things on paper, you can download it right from the beginning. But what I want you to do is to get to a place where you are confronting and naming that fear and moving from fear to courage. That's what this 10-day devotional is going to do. Here's the thing, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. I'm not charging you for it. This is something that I am gifting to you. So you can download it anytime, any day. Go to my website, tanyabreland.com, and click on the link that says free resources in the menu, or you can just do /resources and it'll take you directly to that page. And you can start today. And you can share it with other people that you know. And I would love for you to be able to do that because fear is not going to get the final word. Your yes is going to be the final word. So we have come to the end of our time this afternoon. I want to thank you for spending the middle of your afternoon with me. I really don't take it lightly. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. You can inbox me, you can DM me, send me a message, you can shoot me an email, Tonya@tonyabreland.com. I do read all of my messages. And you can also go onto my website, tonyabreland.com, and you can contact me there as well. That free resource is available to you right now. It's called When Fear Knocks. It's a 10-day devotional. I will be with you again on Monday at noon. I will be talking about fear of failure versus fear of success. Which one is actually stopping you and holding you back? We're going to dig into fear of failure and fear of success because we know that both of those are reasons why many people don't move forward in doing what God has. Until then, have a blessed weekend and enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you. Thank you for joining me.